I'm really grateful to Global Huddle and Chetan who's here somewhere in the hall, to have invited me to talk. I'm basically an aviation person with a strong background on hospitality. But I have gone through a great process in my career and in my experience with a lot of startups, with a lot of companies, with a lot of my friends who have actually created value, created businesses, and I have been part of their founding initiatives, and it has given me quite a bit of experience of how things are done and how things evolve, because evolution is really what it is all about. And for every startup organization or initiative, evolution is what takes you to the next level. So my topic is re-engineering growth and how leaders build markets before they build businesses. I would like to start with an anecdote of Steve Jobs, which actually says it all. So he says, you've got to start with the customer experience and work back toward the technology, not the other way around. And a lot of people, some of these anecdotes that we keep hearing and reading and highlighting have a lot of meaning in what is being said. And a lot of people get trapped in the reverse pitfall, and then they wonder what went wrong. For me, it is the team that builds markets. It is the teams that builds businesses. Leaders only build vision, which are led by the teams. And the team members actually evolve that vision. So every idea, even of a team member, is not small, it is very relevant, and that is what becomes the importance of a successful business. What builds markets? Finding the niche and identifying the gap. We all know that, and we all learn this in the basics of our management studies, that you have to find a niche and you have to really identify the gap in which you want to plug in your product. And there is so much of innovation happening, and the technology is taking over everywhere, that we have reached the digital world, and everybody is trying to innovate in the digital world and with artificial intelligence, and there is more to come. Innovation will lead to opportunities. So it's only those who think of innovation will actually succeed in the long run. If you go static in your business and stop thinking innovation and stop thinking laterally, lateral thinking is a word of Edward de Bono. Edward de Bono said, think out of the box. The moment you start thinking out of the box, you will get an idea of what is it that I can do better, in a better way, and in a more innovative way. Are you in a crowded space? And here I want to actually take you through a few examples which will set the tone and the background for the topic that I have been given. Are you in a crowded space? Is the question that a lot of startups and innovators ask. Startups and innovation, it is never too late, because even I have asked this question many times to many people. Is this the right time to do this thing? Is it the right time to enter this field? Is it the right time to create this product and launch it? Is it not too crowded already? And I want to mention about a very, very dear friend of mine who was my colleague in the Taj, and he created a brand called Lemon Tree Hotels. I think all of you must have heard of Lemon Tree Hotels. 2022. 2000 or 9, somewhere about 15 years back, 18 years back, he actually started his company called Lemon Tree Hotels. And at that time, the hotel industry was on a downturn. When he started, it was on a downturn. So he found a niche. He found a niche of budget hotels. So his first hotel, he came up with this very innovative idea that I will create my first hotel in Gurgaon, in Udyog Vihar, which is the industrial set within Gurgaon. The first hotel he created was a debt-free hotel. Total investment, 10 crores. How did he raise that fund? Friends and family. He had 4 partners who contributed 2.5 crores each, including himself from his savings. And then to operate the hotel, he raised money for working capital from his friends and family. So he bought the land, he created the first hotel for 10,000 rupees, in 10 crore rupees, and branded it as Lemon Tree Hotel. Very, very refreshing first product that he created, and he continues to innovate. Extremely fresh product, extremely fresh thinking, multi-skilling of the staff. So he didn't have a front office manager and a banquet manager, and he said, I will have a core team which will be multitasking. So he created a new culture of multitasking, because all the hotels were doing this compartmentalized recruitment. He did multitasking. So he created this product, and it was not stopping him after that. One thing, and it's a success story that I keep telling him he should write about, because I have followed it. I was one of the investors in that, and I was part of that success trajectory that he went through. What is the market cap of Lemon Tree Hotels today? 13,800 crores. In about 18 years, 15 years. So can you believe this? A young entrepreneur who had a vision and who created that business, and where has it taken him today? And there's no stopping him. So these are good examples to emulate, I would say. Every product has a market. What drives it is what is it that the customer wants, and that's what he studied very closely, because day by day that's what he was focusing on. What is it that my customer wants? What is the niche that I create for him? That's where he brought in a very refreshing product. If you go to a Lemon Tree Hotel, you will see what a refreshing product it is actually. Scalability. Every business must address this aspect. Is my business going to be scalable? Because if it is not going to be scalable, then you will not be happy in the long run. So scalability is a very important element of any business that is created. And the market narrative and distribution. I will give you the example of Campa. Everybody must have heard of Campa Cola. So when Coca-Cola exited India, there were 2 brands that got launched. One of them was Campa Cola. Campa Cola was launched by the family that actually were the largest franchisees for Coca-Cola in India. And they created this brand, Campa Cola. However, it ran successfully for many years. Family feud, family split, company closed down. Brand went dead. They were inundated with debts. 2 years back, the family came together and sold the brand. They sold it to Reliance Retail. And everybody thought how can this brand do well? It's a dead brand. What did they do? They did things totally differently. They launched a smaller sized bottle. They went to tier 2 and tier 3 cities and launched their product, Campa, and branded it as Campa. In the first year of operation, they clocked in, with a limited market penetration, they clocked in 300 crores turnover. And there is no stopping them now. Now today you see Campa even in metro cities. There's something right they did. They changed the product packaging. They focused on pricing. They focused on cost of operation. They focused on profitability. And they built that business back again from ground up. And they have succeeded. And today, Reliance Retail is all over the country. So now you will find this penetration in their own stores. But the penetration did not start with their own stores. It started with tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So that's again a learning factor. It's a learning curve that we all go through. We should not stop learning because we learn from others and we learn. And it's not about Reliance. It's not about the fact that Reliance has a lot of money so they can take a risk and do it. Anybody could have thought about this. But it is them who thought about buying that brand and relaunching it. So I'll talk a little about the startup DNA. Finding the opportunity that fulfills the need today and is expandable tomorrow with innovation. And we know a couple of these brands like Uber and Paytm. Paytm came at the right time. And do you know when the Paytm kicked in? Paytm kicked in when we had the note bandi, as it was called. You know, when Mr. Modi said no more 2,000 rupee notes and all that. Because his vision was that the payment domain should become digital. Paytm was ready with their product and they launched it. And they made a big success. Today it has become a generic name. Even when you're using some other app, say a PayZapp, or the normal thing that you would say is Paytm. It may not be a Paytm, but you will say Paytm. Why? Because it evolved into in a generic way, and that is how it's like the photocopier. So Xerox is a name of a brand. It's a company. But everybody started calling photocopying Xerox. But that's not actually, it's photocopying, but people started calling it Xerox. So that's the success of a product where it becomes a generic name for some activity which a person performs. And for me, the best example still is Air Deccan. And I come from the aviation industry. Air Deccan was a story, and there is a film that has been made on this, a feature film. Air Deccan went through the pains of a startup. They bought an old aircraft. They raised money. Dr. Gopinath raised money by mortgaging things. He raised money because he had a conviction that India needed air travel for the common person. People were traveling by train who nobody had thought that the very normal people and low income group people could travel by. They had never thought of traveling by air. But he had this vision. So he created Air Deccan. He even sold tickets at 1 rupee. The price face value of the ticket was 1 rupee, but where was the money? It was in the other components that he value added. He said, you want to check in a bag, it's going to cost you so much. You want to go without your baggage, it's okay, you travel in 1 rupee. Taxes are extra, fuel charge is extra, your seat selection is extra. You want food on the flight, that will be extra. So he created these components and then you package it, and the value was not 1 rupee actually. It was higher than 1 rupee. But the clincher was 1 rupee, because when the customer saw an ad that you can buy, and it's not as if the whole plane was sold for 1 rupee. And that's where the revenue management aspect came in. They said, okay, 20% of the plane we will sell at 1 rupee and the rest we will sell, because I'm taking my base load first and then I will sell at a higher rate. That's how he stacked up his plane. That's how he made revenue. For all of you sitting here, it will be interesting for you to know that Air Deccan turned into a profitable airline. It was still till the end of the brand, and the brand was bought by Kingfisher, by Mr. Vijay Mallya, and it went down with Kingfisher. The brand was profitable. And people say that, you know, in aviation you don't make money. But actually, let me also share another anecdote about airline business from where I come. What do you think is the profitability of an airline? If an airline is profitable, what percentage do you feel, what is your perception of what is the profitability of an airline that is successful and is making profits? Anybody? Okay, so let me tell you, it's not more than 1.5% to 2.5%. The net profitability of an airline is not more than 1.5 to 2.5%. But the turnover, the value of the airline is so high, the turnover in monetary terms is so high, it's in billions of dollars, that 1.5 and 2.5% also make it up into a lot of value. However, there is another anecdote which Richard Branson said that applies to some of the airlines that did not succeed. But there were entrepreneurs who wanted to try their hand at it. He said, if you are a multi-billionaire and you want to become a multi-millionaire, start an airline. For sure you will become a multi-millionaire. If you are a multi-billionaire and you want to become a multi-millionaire. Lastly, the startup is like a jigsaw puzzle. You have to find the right pieces to put together to form the big picture that will take shape of your idea. But please, as they say, you have to do a deep dive and you have to understand every element. Don't miss out a piece in the jigsaw puzzle, because if you do that, you will miss the bus, in spite of your best efforts. So please do that. I want to just leave you folks, and I'm going to be speaking after this to the startup mission of Kerala. I'm also the president of the Indo-Canadian Business Chamber, and I see a great flow of startups coming to India from Canada. There are accelerators, there are startups, there are universities that are coming, and they want to engage with the startup and accelerator domain in India. I have made friends with a gentleman who's sitting here, and he was a speaker yesterday, and he lives in America, his family is in Canada, and we were just discussing that as a tripart between Canada, USA and India, we should do something on the accelerator front. And let us see how we can bring back some synergies which will benefit all of us, all of you. Considering that India today is a real powerhouse, let us not limit our vision and let us not limit our effort in making it into a much bigger powerhouse. We are already a very big powerhouse. So I will leave you folks with these thoughts, and if there is anybody who wants to engage with me after the session, I'm here and we can have a chat. Thank you very much. I'm going to try and bring some Canada and the US piece together with this gentleman here, and we will take it forward. Thank you.